So welcome back to Third Rate Content. Today we're out having a winter walk and we are actually revisiting a site that we did cover some years ago with far inferior technology. It's St Winifred's Well at Woolston in Shropshire. It's one of two St Winifred's wells in the country, the other one being in Holywell, North Wales. But we're going to be finding out all about this saint, her story, and it is quite an interesting one. And we'll be recounting this beautiful well and its very tranquil, serene nature. So buckle up and I'll see you out here. So St Winifred, or Winifred as she is sometimes known, was a 7th century saint who was martyred and canonized, subsequently canonized. And she was a lady from a very respectable home. Her parents were nobility in her area in North Wales. And she was a Christian. And this was a time where Christianity and pagan values were kind of at odds. The old ways were being slowly replaced by the new, well, not so new, but new at this time, Christianity's resurgence in Britain. And St Winifred took a brave stand, very much like last week's Saint Lucia. Although she did the act herself to herself, St Winifred had an act of very heinous violence enacted on her, or in her story, by a pagan suitor who very much liked St Winifred. He complimented her and she didn't like it and she wouldn't go along with him. Caradoc did not like being rejected. And he took it out on Winifred, according to the story, by decapitating her, thus ending her life prematurely. But luckily for Winifred, her uncle was Bueno, Saint Bueno, and he miraculously joined Winifred's body back with her head and brought her back to life. But where Winifred's head had fallen after she got decapitated, a miraculous well sprung up. This is in North Wales, in Holywell, North Wales. I would like to visit that well at some point. But, you know, her stand against the old ways was noted and Winifred became Saint Winifred. Wow, snowdrops making an appearance here in the middle of January. Very encouraging sign. The old and the new together. Yes, the resurrection of St Winifred was central to her cult that arose after her resurrection. Yeah, after this miraculous event, St Winifred took the veil and became an abbess. The abbey was at, just wait for it. It was at Gwytherin in Wales, and St Winifred lived until about the years AD 660. Yeah, the Holy Well in Holywell became one of the most famous and visited pilgrimage sites in Britain at this time. But the well here in Shropshire grew up several hundred years after the life of St Winifred's. In fact, in the 1100s, in the 12th century, Shrewsbury Abbey was undergoing a major invigoration process or revigoration, and it was getting into the holy relics market, if you like, again for pilgrimages. So that it was good to have a relic of a saint that would be something that people wanted to visit and pray to and hopefully get a religious something out of. But Shrewsbury Abbey decided the bones of St Winifred would be just right for their pilgrimage sort of drive, and they brought back the bones of St Winifred from North Wales to Shrewsbury. But on the way back, they stopped here at Woolston on the way to Shrewsbury. Not too far in a car, but it probably took ages in those days, just with a cart or on foot. But where they stopped was here. And allegedly, this spring sprang up overnight as the monks rested with the bones. And this site in itself, the second St Winifred's well, the smaller one, less well known, became a site of pilgrimage in its own right. Very interesting. I don't know if anyone watching today has watched the video we made here a few years ago where I actually did jump in the well. I had my sunglasses on and I didn't realise there was water in there, so I just sort of went down into that bit. But what we didn't do last time, and we're going to do right now, is bless our face and eyes with St Winifred's holy water. So, you know, look at that. Holy water. But the water here is meant to actually hold mineral properties. It comes out of the ground like a lot of wells, and it has actually got mineral content, as the red stones here will show you as well. It could be St Winifred's blood that's being represented by them, or like I say, it could just be the minerals, or combination. Who knows? Tell us in the comments what you think. Actually, it'd be lovely to hear, because as I always say on Third Rate Content, there is no right and wrong. You believe whatever you like. If it helps you in life and makes you feel better, that's what you should do. And you know, and me personally, I just don't follow anything sort of to the letter of the law. I just sort of take what I want out of everything, and it'll be all right. Just like putting holy water on my face. Yeah, I just want to put it out there so I'm not misunderstood. I don't mean I take things literally. What I mean is, given that I was diagnosed some years ago with ADHD, I feel quite adept at moving through various streams of esoteric, religious, metaphysical thought patterns. You know, like a dancer. Or at least, you know, I like to think so, until I trip over my own feet. But I do take what I need at the moment when I need it, and I let the ideas take me where I want to go, which is usually the next fascinating thought or insight. It's a bit like, instead of a map, you got a butterfly net. But I think all of this internal work is expressed somewhat in the external world by our journeys here on Third Rate Content and our investigation. So thanks for joining me, and thanks for listening to my explanation for 2025. Back to the well. Like somebody has left an offering here to St Winifred, or perhaps to another entity that is associated with this well. Because it is thought that this well did have a Christian dedication that preceded St Winifred's. So perhaps the Saxons, Anglo-Saxons, used it as a place of pilgrimage, or, you know, associated with a Christian saint of their time. But preceding that, it was probably associated with entities or whatever from the old ways, you know. So like any natural body of water, especially in such a beautiful location, they do tend to sort of get associated with entities. So as well as St Winifred is actually quite recent compared to the other ones that probably go back into time immemorial. Probably people have been coming here for thousands of years. As I always say on Third Rate Content, it's the layers upon layers of history. It just keeps going and going and going. And even though St Winifred seems a long time ago, in the great scheme of things, she wasn't really. St Winifred's story has been depicted in various forms of medieval literature, including The Life of St Winifred by Robert of Shrewsbury. And she appears in stained glass and manuscripts and paintings. So St Winifred continues to be a relevant figure, both in religious and folkloric aspects. St Winifred's feast day is on the 3rd of November, and her wells remain, both of them, relevant to anybody studying folklore or the history of the Middle Ages or early medieval period. Of course, what we know about St Winifred is not historical fact. It's mostly taken from her hagiography, if I'm saying that right, her sort of religious history. So it's a story and a myth, but something that you can hang a hook on, basically, and we keep coming back to. Yeah, I thought I'd come today on a winter's day with new technology, because we filmed the last video we made here 3 years ago, nearly, or 4 years ago even, I can't actually remember, on an iPhone 7. So hopefully the quality will be vastly improved, I'm hoping. Just gonna go right in there to the actual bit of the well that's undercover, and this is where I sort of thought it was empty last time and just jumped into it. So let's go and have a look, and I won't be going in because it's in minus temperature today, so I don't think it'd be a good idea. Yeah, that's where I jumped in last time. The lady who is traditionally credited with funding the building of the work at St Winifred's Well in Woolston is Lady Margaret Beaufort. According to historical accounts, she was involved in the early 1500s with endowments that led to the construction or enhancement of the well. You can actually rent this property out. It's on Landmark Trust. Interestingly, Charlotte Byrne wrote in Shropshire Folklore that the dedication to St Winifred may have been forgotten over time and only reinstated in later times. Yeah, there was a rekindling of Catholic religion and sites of Catholic pilgrimage of interest in the 19th century, and Charlotte Byrne feels that the dedication may have re-emerged during that time, because obviously in the preceding few hundred years in Britain or England, it was not on to be a Catholic. There is speculation, as I said, that the well might have had another dedication before St Winifred. According to Roy Fry and Tristan Gray Hulse in the other St Winifred wells, the earliest reference to the well being dedicated to St Winifred in Shropshire comes from Hulbert's Story of Salop in 1838. By this, there might not have been recognised dedication, or it could have been to another saint or deity, reflecting pre-Christian or early Christian practices. Because of course, early Christianity was quite a bit different from the later Catholicism that came along. It was more kind of independent and more like a cross between paganism and Christianity a bit. Yeah, just to clarify and slightly correct myself, I mentioned that the early medieval English church was crossed with the old pagan religion, but that wasn't quite right. Instead, it's more accurate to say that Christianity in the early medieval period had many of the old ways embedded within it, because it was the direct successor to the old ways, integrating elements of pre-existing pagan practices to facilitate its acceptance and growth. And when it all got formalised later, after the Norman invasion and everything, a lot of this sort of folk religion was sort of pushed out, and the more formalised Catholic religion of the Normans implemented. Yeah, and as with many holy wells in Britain, there's a theory that this well could have been used in pagan times. Later Christianised, the well's association with healing might predate its Christian dedication, suggesting that it was a sacred site of some form long before St Winifred. The reflection of the mist here looks a bit poetic. Only just noticed it in the edit. The well here is covered by what was once possibly thought to be a courthouse or chapel, now a cottage. This adds to the mystery of its dedication. The structure itself isn't definitively tied to St Winifred in historical documents before the 19th century, suggesting that the building might have served another purpose or had another dedication. There is much uncertainty whether it was always dedicated to St Winifred, or even if it's a more later thing, or it was forgotten, as Charlotte Byrne said. Who knows? That's what the history, mystery, folklore, legend and magic are third-rate contents all about. It's just what could have happened. You know, you've got to use your imagination with history. Yeah, obviously the red stones here, are associated with St Winifred's martyrdom. You can see them, especially inside. And not so much this well, but at many wells of significance, it's known as to bring good luck, or, you know, a tradition where pilgrims would tie rags or cloths to nearby trees or bushes, known as clootie wells or rag wells, as a form of offering, or to leave behind sickness. Although this practice is more commonly associated with other wells, the concept of leaving something behind might have been part of the folklore here as well, and it looks like it's continuing to this day. Lovely to see. People have reported strange occurrences here and feelings of serenity, and like there's a positive presence in this area. Whether it's St Winifred or an older presence, or just the feeling that you get around here, who knows? But I can tell you now, as someone who's visited here twice, in summer and in winter, it is absolutely beautiful and well worth a short visit. It's just serene is the word I'd use. But I think you'll agree, the folklore of St Winifred's well is a tapestry woven from broader Christian hagiography, local storytelling, and the universal human love for mystery and magic. It reflects the cultural, religious, and historical layers that have accumulated around this small but significant well, making it a rich subject for folklore investigations. So thank you for joining us on our investigation today on Third Rate Content. Been lovely in the mid-January depths of winter, but as we saw, signs of spring are coming. They're very, very close, and by the 1st of February officially that is to some the start of spring, and you do see everything's popping out by then. So yeah, we're getting there. Although I've enjoyed the winter, I enjoy each season as it comes. I don't get afflicted with a sad or anything like that, although some people do. I'm not taking anything away from that. I actually love the darkness. It's appropriate time and season, and I love the summer when it's bright as well. But anyway, like I say, thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed today's visit, why don't you leave us a comment? I do love a good comment. Love to talk, and I comment back wherever appropriate and applicable. And why don't you leave a subscribe if you haven't already, or hit the subscribe button, should I say. But thank you if you have. And a like, and hit the notification bell if you want to do any of these things. It's up to you. I'm not pushing you, I'm just suggesting it. But anyway, if I don't see you soon, I'll see you 3 times as soon. Third Rate Content signing out. Bye-bye, and bye-bye from St Winifred's Well. And just reflecting on our visit to St Winifred's Well in the edit, I think there is something about that place, in the water, in the mist, and the repetitive flow of the blessed, sacred water.